right, welcome everybody to a common briefing program episode, part of the common geeking program, where each month we take a look at the hottest headlines across. Take two. Welcome to the common briefing program. We looked at the hottest
meme from like 5 years ago.
The headline is longer than that. That was like 10 years ago, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Don't say that to me. Oh, no. Don't say that to me.
No. Anyway, my name is Colin.
Possibly have been 10 years ago.
All right. No. Well, this is gonna get derailed. I'm pretty. It might be more than. I feel like I'm being generous with 10 years. What are those original? Let's see if YouTube has the date. It's like 7 years old.
Okay, I can live with that.
All right. I thought it was older than that. Anyway, okay. Take three. Welcome to the common briefing program, part of the common geeking program. God, you can't just say take four when the take hasn't stopped.
You flubbed the word.
Take five.
Okay, there we go. Now it's take five. Thanks, Chowder. You got what you wanted. Welcome.
You remember
to the common briefing program.
You remember take
Jeff,
five,
for the love of God, you promised me that you were sleepy. I thought this would be easy. You're like cranky toddlers. I can't wrangle you.
I'm rambunctious when I'm sleepy. Joke's on you.
I don't like it. The part of the geeking program where we talk about geek news. It's time. I'm Colin. This is Jeff and Chowder. They don't get to introduce themselves because they're sitting in the corner for the next hour.
That's fair.
We're gonna take a look at all the stuff that happened in April. Not all the stuff, because April leading into May, some bad stuff has happened, and we're gonna try to focus on the stuff squarely in the geek realm, which has been less bad on the whole. And much like this is a respite from my friend's naps here, this could be a respite from that for you. So Jeff and Chowder, I normally start with a vibe check, but I think we know already that you're both feeling kind of sleepy right now.
Yeah, tired vibes. I don't know if sleepy is really the right word. I'm tired, you know? It's like
the
difference between sleepy and
so you're not
tired.
You're like fatigued?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a little achy, you know? I've been moving boxes all day, so I am physically
will do that to you.
Tired, but not quite. Couldn't sleep if I wanted to.
Whereas Chowder, I believe, is just straight up sleepy boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. We didn't like message each other ahead of this, and I was like, if for some reason this recording falls through, I am going to take a nap. And I logged on and I saw Jeff already in the recording. I'm like, all right, cool. No nap for this boy. Let's move. So I don't know what kind of energy we're gonna get today, but we have some news that will provide energy all its own. So let's look at the month of April and dive right in. I have a handful of things that I would like to talk about, some of which are super in my wheelhouse, some of which are not. Actually, looking at this list, most of this is in my wheelhouse, so let's get those wheels turning. First thing I want to talk about, once again, is Bungie. After a few months ago, there was a report about toxicity on the writing team specifically, but among seniority at the company. I talked about how that article ended with kind of like a high note where everyone's like, yeah, shit sucked, but it's getting better. And I'm like, that's a hopeful bend you don't usually see on this. And since then, Bungie has just been kind of like making a lot of very excellent choices when it comes to protecting their employees. One of which is, even though they just spent a bunch of money getting a whole new office set up, they just said, we are going digital first with remote work for our studio. You can already work here from many states. We're going to work to roll out more. Taxes are obviously difficult to sort of straighten out, but they are not going to be requiring people return to the office, I think, except for very specific roles, which makes a lot of sense. There are some things you just got to be on, in proximity for, but they are adopting a digital first employment structure that comes on the heels of them, again, securing over $1 billion in retention funds for their employees. And after the leak of the Supreme Court potentially gutting women's rights, and potentially even more than that down the road, they came out fiercely and firmly yesterday with the most like aggressively, explicitly like pro-abortion, pro-choice, pro-women's rights statement ever. And of course, that invited a lot of trolls on Twitter to come out and like say like, this is a video game. We don't need your politics. And you got to go through the replies, not because the replies are hilarious or depraved, but because like the folks running that Twitter at Bungie are straight up just telling everyone to fuck off. Like, hey, this is important to our employees. We're going to do this no matter what. My favorite, though, is actually a reply not by Bungie, where someone said, okay, I disagree with your politics. Can I get a refund on all the stuff I just bought that's coming out over the next year? To which somebody replied, I thought you didn't believe in terminating things after they began. And I really laughed at that one. I thought that was pretty fantastic. But Bungie is on a good guy streak that I really hope continues. But I think as we're seeing all these other game studios not just push people back into the offices, but also just deal with like scandals galore, as I'm sure we'll talk more about some today. But Bungie, after like making all these huge moves to retain employees, is now going completely against what all big companies are trying to do, because I don't know if you guys have realized this. People don't like going to work.
Yeah.
Nobody likes it.
Don't.
Nobody wants to go back into work, and companies are making them do it because that's how it always was, and that's how they want it to remain. And Bungie is, I believe, the first major game studio to come out and say, like, we're just going to adopt this practice because it is healthy for our employees, and we want them to be the priority. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the work gets done, it shouldn't matter if they're doing it from home or not, if it's something that can be done from home.
Yeah, there are definitely instances where you need to be local, but in most of them, I mean, why do you think it's a meme amongst people who don't even know what the word meme means? To say this could have been an email. Driving to work could have been an email. Anyway, next up on my list, I can't believe this wasn't the first thing on my list. Elon Musk bought Twitter.
Yeah. And if you're hearing about that from us, you really need to.
I don't think there's a lot more. I don't think there's a lot to really say from a geek perspective. The concern is that he's going to, because he said he wants to do this, is really relax, quote, censorship to promote, quote, free speech. Because the problem with Twitter has been that people aren't expressing themselves loudly and often enough. That's definitely what's wrong with Twitter. But I mean, like, he's consistently espousing the idea that this is all in the idea of remaining politically neutral. But here's the thing.
Shut up.
That's what he says. But political neutrality is not an objective thing. Like, political fads are always going to exist. Trends will exist. Movements will exist. Whatever is in the middle of those is not necessarily healthy, true, or any other thing that I think should be the goal of a social platform. But that's what he's shooting for. And as our country creeps ever closer to the right, the middle will follow along. And Elon Musk will make sure Twitter is right there with him. So that sucks. But I guess we'll see how everything shakes out. Badly. But now I want to talk about Halo. So Halo is in a weird spot right now.
There's also, like, we probably know what the real reason he wants to buy Twitter is. It's because his ex-wife is dating a trans person, and this might just be a way to get back at
everything about his behavior publicly during this suggests a massive ego trip of some sort. Then again,
I mean,
so
everything about
most of his
everything
behavior.
Elon Musk does,
Yes. So, I mean, part of it is also, I think, Jack Dorsey, founder of Twitter, former CEO, two-time CEO of Twitter, apparently spoke with Elon Musk, and Jack Dorsey really wanted to see the company taken private. I don't know if Elon Musk was like his best choice, but maybe like the only guy that could scrounge up the money. Let it also be said that this is the guy that said he would donate $6 billion to the UN to solve world hunger when they created a plan for it, and then they did and called his bluff, and then he didn't do it and bought Twitter instead for $44 billion. That's fun. Anyway, let's talk about Halo.
Hey, so here's geek news. Elon Musk sucks ass and always has. That's my opinion. Let's talk about Halo.
Let's talk about Halo. How long are we going to shit on Elon Musk and say, let's talk about Halo? Not much longer. We're going to talk about Halo. So Halo has been a video game for a long time. It has been a TV show for a much shorter time. And it's just a weird spot as a Halo fan right now. I've talked a lot about Halo Infinite up to this point. When it launched, it was like very widely celebrated, and over the 6 months, that attitude has turned pretty sour because Halo Infinite positioned itself as a live service game. And we've talked on this podcast also about how games like Destiny and Final Fantasy XIV are showing that the live service model can be done very well. And Halo Infinite is not doing it very well because the game launched. They did some updates in the first couple weeks to tweak some like scoring things, but otherwise it was 6 months before we got any content. For comparison, by this point in Halo 3's life cycle back in 2007, we'd already gotten, I think, 5 or 6 new maps. Just yesterday, we got 2, and those are the last maps I believe we're getting for another 6 months. Basically, all the claims of mismanagement around Halo, they feel very true lately because there are just a lot of delayed timelines, delayed features, and not a lot of new content in the game that started off so strong. People are like, hey, you're trying to get us to spend money, you're trying to get us to engage with these things, but there's just not enough there. And when we say something's wrong, you're like, yeah, that sucks. We'll fix it eventually. And they had a big live stream recently where they kind of went down the list of like, we don't like having to say these things. It's just the nature of the business at this point. Like we are limited by what we can do. Basically, like the people that care about Halo, like myself, I enjoy the game immensely, are fine waiting for the game to be good, but it sucks that right now it's in kind of a dry spot where there's a dearth of new content, and the game that started off so strongly has sort of hit this low point. I fully expect it to bounce back. Live service games frequently launch, fail, and then build back up. That happens all the time. Destiny was total ass when it came out. I will never stop complaining about the first year of Destiny. It was bad.
Final Fantasy 14, like, literally just had one of the shittiest games ever. They reset the universe and just had Final Fantasy 14 a new beginning or something, and
And so here's where the reason I want to bring it up. I don't think that in itself is big news. I mean, that's more of niche Halo news outside the Halo community. I don't think that's a big deal. And I'm not going to go into the details of why it's bad. But the other thing that came out recently was the Halo TV show, which I believe I talked about briefly last time because it had just begun. We are now 6 episodes deep, 7 as of the airing of this podcast. And it started off getting, I think, as I said before, a wave of sort of like rejection and condemnation. Like, this is not the Halo I know. I don't want an alternate timeline. Spoiler alert, don't show me Master Chief's face. Spoiler alert again, don't show me Master Chief's butt cheeks. There's just a lot of...
You know, I do kind of wish he would wear his helmet more often, but otherwise I like the show as someone who doesn't have much attachment to to Halo.
I really like the first episode. I feel as though the next 3 were a little slow, but then episode 5 hit, and everybody's...
I've not watched the most recent one.
It's not the most recent one. It would be 2 weeks ago for you. So the episode 5. I'm not going to go into any spoilers, but basically, after a lot of drama, after a lot of world building, after a lot of naked Spartans, we got an action set piece that was very big and very fun and very exciting. And if you played the games, very familiar. It lit up the faces, or should I say the Twitter accounts, rip Twitter, of everybody that was complaining about the Halo show up to this point. They were like, this is the fucking show I signed up for. And the following episode, while not as bombastic, has pushed the story in directions that are like resonating not just with people like me who don't really care that it changes the story, and also people who are like purists. The show has not just found its new audience, but found its Halo audience. And I am so interested in the idea that Halo Infinite started so strong and the show started so maligned. And in the last month, they have just totally crossed paths. Totally cross paths. And I think that's very interesting just because they're both big in their own right. And if you like Halo, I think that you can sort of scratch your head as like, yeah, no, that did flip. And if you don't like Halo, know that there's a lot of angry and happy people that can't decide what they're angry and happy about, but these games have something to do with it.
Welcome to the video game community.
Yes. Anyway, Halo has a lot going on, and it's not going the way we expected. Couple other quick things that I would like to mention. Apple is up to their usual bullshit, where they have been sending out notices to some App Store developers saying that if the app has not been updated in and I'm quoting an Ars Technica quote here of an email sent to a developer, this app has not been updated in a significant amount of time and is scheduled to be removed from the sale in 30 days. No action is required for the app to remain available to users who have already downloaded the app. So... basically, what they're saying is, if you don't update your apps, it's going to get taken off the App Store. On one hand, you could...
What if there's nothing fucking wrong with it?
Yeah, so there's 2 sides to this. One is the idea of curation and making sure that things are clean. Apple tries to maintain their reputation of having an App Store that is like, there's no scammy shit, there's no bullshit on it, which is also not true. But it's like generally a pretty reliable space to navigate. Well, I mean, like apps can, there's the thing that I will say that they're good at doing is maintaining things that generally don't have malware in them. There are still people that will like try to do internet scams on it and shit, but they run a tight ship in that way. But any good grace that you want to give them, I think gets blown out of the window every time they try to do something like this, because it is a tone-deaf move that, to Jeff's point, if an app doesn't need an update, then you are creating a burden for developers, particularly in the game space. If you're talking about productivity tools and stuff like that, I mean, they're going to fall out of compatibility with modern systems if they're not being updated anyway. But if somebody makes a game like Machinarium, which you've talked about on the show before, you can get that on an iPad. Okay, what if the developer of Machinarium decides not to update their game? Now you can't get it anymore. I
love that game.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you might run into compatibility issues down the road, but that's already solved for by the fact that Apple lists compatible devices and compatible operating systems on there. Delisting it here doesn't seem to have anything to do with compatibility, but app update recency. So any argument that you can make for this being like keeping the App Store healthy kind of falls apart when you examine the things actually in play. There hasn't been a lot of update on this since the notice went out. I don't know if there will be a backpedal. I expect sometime in the next month we will hear more about it if they actually stick to this and start delisting apps for no reason. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 released. Fun movie. It is now the highest grossing video game movie adaptation ever, which, I mean...
Yeah, I mean...
It was better than the first one. I had fun. It was a goofy, fun little movie.
Yeah, I mean, hey, liking the source material, a movie that actually likes the source material it's adapting. What a wild concept, right?
Yeah. I do have a bone to pick. I don't like how they made the Master Emerald a combination of the emeralds instead of the Master of the 7 existing emeralds. Another podcast for another time. No, it was a lot of fun. Idris Elba as Knuckles is a revelation. Jim Carrey is entering his final form. It was fun. Don't know why we needed a dance scene to Uptown Funk, but, you know, c'est la vie.
Yeah, that's not even, like, that relevant anymore.
No, sure isn't.
Uptown Funk wouldn't have even been a really relevant song to have in the first Sonic movie.
Sure wouldn't. I mean, also, like, given that Michael Jackson allegedly made all the music for Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and this is the movie with Knuckles in it, and they do a bunch of Sonic 3 levels in it, I'm like, why don't they do, like, a Michael Jackson?
They're probably going to save it for Sonic 3, don't you think?
Yeah, well, Sonic 3, another spoiler alert here, is going to be about Shadow, so you can expect some sort of Sonic Adventure 2 adaptation. We saw Shadow in the post-credits bit. But Sonic, it's fun. It'll be on Paramount Plus soon. It's a fun movie.
If they don't have Live and Learn in that movie, in the third Sonic movie, I'm wrong.
Hanging on the edge of tomorrow.
What if they did like a meta thing with Shadow, where to have him be like the evil Sonic, instead of making him the typical Shadow design, they kept the original live-action Sonic design that was horrible. We
put that up. Unfortunately, I've seen his face, and they didn't do that. But that'd be very funny. That'd be very meta. So, two last tiny little things. First, we got a trailer for Weird, the Al Yankovic story, a biopic made with Weird Al's involvement, starring Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al. Looks like fun. We'll see that later this year. Last is a note of hope, a little happy piece of news. So there's a game called Elden Ring that everybody in the world loves but me, and I've accepted that. But there's something that's been happening in Elden Ring that melts my heart in a big way. There is no shortage of difficult boss fights in Elden Ring, a notoriously difficult game. And one of the boss fights, Melina, while optional, is something that a lot of people find themselves banging their heads against, just because she is an extremely, extremely challenging fight. And the social features of Elden Ring step in when you approach when you approach Melina. You have the ability to potentially summon somebody to come and assist you with the boss fight. Enter the Jarnished. When you play as a character, you're called a Tarnished in Elden Ring, and if you summon this particular person, you'll notice that their name is Let Me Solo Her, and they arrive wearing nothing except a loincloth and a jar on their head. And they will solo fight Melina without taking a single hit for you, and then leave.
And this is a real person.
This is a real dude who sits there playing as a character with a jar on his head, jumping into players' instances, requesting to solo the boss fight for him, beating the fight for them, and then fucking off. And the community has rallied around the Jarnished. There are already cosplays that I've seen pictures of, fan art galore. copycats of other people wearing jars on their head. It's full beginning of the Dark Knight out here. It's insane. And
it's gone down as a legend, man.
For a game that has brought a lot of people a lot of joy, I can't believe that this community act that everyone has rallied around has even reached the heart of a naysayer like myself. I think it is wonderful, and I think we need more people like Let Me Solo Her in games.
That's very good.
You are a true champion. Thank you. On to Jeff.
Yeah, I don't have a tremendous amount of news this month. We got a trailer for lore for Thor: Love and Thunder, not Lore Thove and Thunder. Yeah, I got to see some vibes of that. We got our first look at Natalie Portman with her Thor outfit. Do they still call her Thor?
Well, I call her Natalie Thortman.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, she's called Thor, even though
we don't know what they'll do in the movies.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any goddamn sense, right? Because Thor is his name, not a title.
Yeah, Thor is his name, and the quote obviously is like whoever wields is worthy will wield the power of Thor. So I'm sure the movies will not call her Thor because that's the only well they're pulling from. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so we got that trailer, and that was kind of fun. Another a positive piece of news that I really like is we got an announcement from Netflix that in the next season of The Umbrella Academy, Elliot Page, who since between seasons, after the last season but before whatever season hasn't come out yet, transitioned. Their character is actually going to be transitioning in Umbrella Academy as well. And instead of Vanya, the character's new name will be Victor. So that's pretty cool, because I was kind of wondering, obviously that's not the, the most important thing about, Elliot Page transitioning, but I was kind of curious, since that was a project that he is still actively working in, how they would handle that. If, Elliot Page would still be playing a female character, or what they would do. And I think that's probably the best way to handle it. And, it's like a bonus of being able to actually get some trans representation in media, other than just having a trans actor.
Yeah. And even putting aside the studio politics that goes into getting the money and weight you need behind representing, trans storylines like that, kudos to the writers for being able to pivot like that and say, let's find a way to, I mean, obviously we'll see if it turns out to be a compelling story in its own right.
Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk.
The fact that they're going to canonize that out of respect for the actor and their preferences, you can probably assume that Elliot went to the writers with this and broached the topic and how to handle it in the show. So the fact that they're canonizing it doesn't just speak to the politics, but also the interest of the writers in telling those stories with the people experiencing them. That's encouraging. Yeah. That's nice to see.
It is. And, obviously, like we said, huge asterisks based on,
maybe season 3 is where it sucks for other reasons, or they mishandle this entirely. Who knows?
Right.
But at this point, I think the thought is the thought of it is encouraging.
Yeah. So that was a fun kind of headline, but obviously not a ton from it yet until we actually see the product. Next thing is Flash actor Ezra Miller got arrested in Hawaii again for assaulting another person. I don't know what's up with Ezra Miller and assaulting people in Hawaii. I mean, I guess it's just because that's where they are. So that's where they're assaulting people. But it's just wild that this is where we've got, this is at least the second.
Listen, you assault the people you're with.
Well, I'm just saying.
That's all you can do.
It's not like Ezra's going to go fly to a different place that they aren't already and assault someone there, right? If they're in Hawaii, it's not that they're specifically assaulting people in Hawaii. It's they're assaulting people and it's in Hawaii, right?
Well, some people have maps of I want to go here and here and here. What if?
I mean, it could be, but Ezra already got Hawaii before, so I don't think that they're really marking off another state in their...
Was it a different island?
Oh, that's a good question that I have no idea, and I'm not going to look up the answer to.
Look, I just want to imagine Ezra Miller just walking along the roads of Hawaii and punching random Hawaiians.
Yeah, really.
I mean, I don't want to imagine that. That sounds horrific.
True, but you know. So that's that's a headline that, Ezra Miller sucks a little bit for fucking assaulting people, but I'm not going to go much more into that. Because it's only really geek news because, they play The Flash, not because
they're assaulting people for no particular reason.
Right, yeah. And then my last piece of geek news, which isn't totally relevant, but is kind of the wildest thing to me, simply because of our last episode of the podcast, which was our April Fool's Day episode.
Oh yeah.
And I did a big fucking prank on my co-hosts here and made up a story about the company RoboSen partnering with Hasbro to create another Transformers project that I implied was going to be sex dolls, Transformers sex dolls. I made that up. I made that up entirely based on nothing. Just, I thought it was really funny. And then literally a week later, we got an actual announcement that RoboSen actually is doing a second project with Hasbro. And I was like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? I had no indication of fucking thinking that was going to be happening.
But they're not sex dolls, right?
They're not sex dolls, yeah. But then on April 12th, we got the announcement of what the project actually is, which is wild for some other reasons, but that I'll get into. But it's really funny because when I was implying that they're going to be doing Transformers sex dolls, the title that I gave it was Optimus Prime Companion Piece or something like that. I used the word companion, right? Because that's implying. But the actual product is a literal companion piece to the previously released Transformers RoboSen Optimus Prime figure that was the first project they did, because it is a trailer that goes with the the Optimus Prime truck. So only, if you take the headlines, it's only actually a few words off. The implications are very, very different, but I was just losing my shit the entire day when I realized
I was so confused during that recording that when you started sending those links, I was reading it what the fuck is happening? It's not very often I doubt my own reality. I stay pretty grounded for the most part, but that sent me a little bit, the precision of the gag.
It literally is an Optimus Prime companion piece, just not the one I was implying.
By the same manufacturer with a lot of similar details. So now if you want your latest Transformers news to be scarily accurate, Jeff is your guy.
But okay, so now for the reasons that this is kind of wild for, unrelated to our podcast reasons. It's a pretty cool looking project. The previous project was this auto transforming Optimus Prime, which is this big fucking $700 piece of electronics that has voice commands. And, it's kind of fucking one of those, Robo Sapien things from when we were kids, those kind of things, except it auto transforms and stuff. And now the trailer that is meant to be a companion piece to it also auto transforms, which, if you're unfamiliar with Transformers, Optimus Prime's trailer usually turns into a little battle station. It pretty much just opens up and it has a gun in there. Not a huge deal. But what's kind of wild is because the auto transforming Optimus Prime was already kind of a big product. So the trailer now to scale with that figure is 3 feet long.
Wow.
And it costs $749.99, which means it is actually more expensive than the original figure, which was only $699.99, which is just the kind of wealth that you have to have and the kind of niche, collector market you have to be in to get a $750 expansion to a $700 figure is just mind-boggling to me.
Is that is this another HasLab thing that might not get funded, or is it just
no? So it's
they just straight announced it.
No, so it's not a HasLab thing. It's part of the reason for the huge price point obviously is for what it is, but it's not a typical Hasbro product because this is a third party partnered product.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that does raise the price a little bit because basically, the company has to pay Hasbro licensing fees and stuff like that. So it raises the price of the product itself. So there's like officially licensed third-party products, because, you know, there's plenty of unofficial third-party products as well. But the like, this is, you know, you can buy this on Hasbro's website. It's not like a fucking, you know, like fakey kind of thing. But it is, you know, it's made through a third-party company with partnership with Hasbro. So yeah, I mean, that explains it a little bit, but it's not the kind of thing where it's like made to order like the HasLab stuff is. So I am pretty curious to see like how well it sells and how many of them sell, because they also, when they made this announcement, they also announced that they are reissuing the original one, the Robosen Optimus Prime, which is also wild because that only came out like a year ago. And I wouldn't have imagined that it could have possibly done that well to warrant a reissue. But I guess part of the, you know, impetus of doing the reissue now is that, like, you know, someone who might not have bought it the first time might buy it and then also buy the trailer along with it now, which I can't wrap my head around spending, you know, that much money on this kind of thing all at once. But
let me tell you,
not, you know,
in my current line of work as an art podcast producer, my mind has stopped blanching at high price points because the amount of money being thrown around in the art world, I always knew it was high, but hearing it on a regular basis is astounding. And if I were rich enough to do that and I like Transformers, I'd get the fuck out of that companion piece. But alas, here we are. Smaller, weaker podcasts. We cannot afford all our toys.
That's fair. Fucking, we're gonna goddamn do a Jeff Koons Transformers project. Is that what you're suggesting to me?
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, those were my 4, whatever, how many fucking things I said. Those are my stories for this month. Not a lot that exciting. I was just like, the Robosen thing to me was just so wild because it was literally the announcement was like a week after we recorded that episode, and then like a week after that we saw what it was. It's just like, man, the wildest coincidence, because it's not like I based that joke on the fact that we had inklings that there was going to be another Robosen project. Like, there was no indication that it was going to be. It was just a really bonkers coincidence. But yeah,
absolutely insane. All right, so I want to kick it over to Chowder. I did forget a piece of news. Star Trek Picard has not even finished season 2, and yet they announced that season 3 is going to be a reunion of almost all the Next Generation cast. It's a very strange move. Makes me question a lot of things. But we're getting a TNG reunion, and that'll be the last season of Picard, so that'll be fun. Anyway. Chowder, on to you.
All right, so I guess first thing I want to talk about is good news about Netflix.
Before a lot of bad news about Netflix.
Because there's a lot of bad news for Netflix. Anyways, so some time ago, Disney announced that they were canceling the production of Pneumona, a movie by Noel Stevenson.
Well, it's because they were buying Blue Sky, right? And it was just one of the projects that got dropped.
It's because they bought out Blue Sky, and it was so infuriating because that movie was like 75% done with production, and
damn,
and like they just killed it, and like that's so frustrating because Pneumona is like such a really good webcomic and a really good story, and everyone was excited, and then Disney was like, no, fuck you. Well, in a tweet from them, they announced that it's alive. It's gonna be made by Annapurna and Netflix, and it's coming in 2023. The tweet reads, Pneumona's always been a spunky little story that just wouldn't stop. She's a fighter, but she's also got some really awesome people fighting for her. I am excited out of my mind to announce that the Pneumona movie is alive. Coming at you in 2023 from Annapurna and Netflix. And that is just fucking fantastic. Like,
yeah, not often you get to see victims of corporate maneuvers survive in this sort of way.
Yeah. Like this is very much the culmination of a lot of people fighting tooth and nail to keep a project they believe in alive. And fuck yeah. I look, like you guys like know how I was when like that news first broke. I was like,
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember it too, because you were like, oh my God, guys, this is amazing. Aren't we all so stoked? And I was like, what is Pneumona? And I was the only one in the group that didn't know.
I think it was just Austin and Jocelyn who like understood my excitement. So
yeah,
I know who the real ones are.
Very happy for you.
But yeah, no, Pneumona's a very good story, and I'm looking forward to that. Now on to shitting on Netflix because they recently lost how much was that?
200,000 subscribers.
Yeah, 200,000 subscribers, right?
Which, given that they have like over 200 million or whatever, that's like 0.1% of their subscriber base.
But yeah, but
I'm one of them.
Yeah, and which results in like their stock numbers going down. Like it is comical. Yeah. Like the drop is like a cartoon where it's like, oh yeah, no, it's going. It drops up like a vertical line, man. It's very funny. But and in the wake of that, Netflix just did a bunch of bullshit calls, like they're gonna add advertising to their paid subscription.
An advertising tier at the bottom. Mm-hmm.
And they've also just been canceling projects left and right. For example, they canceled.
God, could you imagine if this fucking movie got canceled again because of this?
oh no, I would fucking riot. Yeah, I mean, look, they canceled the animated adaptation for Jeff Smith's Bone, another adaptation of a comic that everyone was looking forward to, and they were like, nah, never mind, fuck you. And they also canceled 2 animated shows. One is called Boons and Curses, which was, along in production, and they were like, okay, everybody leave. And like, what's so infuriating is that they hired people recently, and like I'm talking like months ago, and then they're like, people
never
moved.
Mind.
People moved, and then they were like, never mind. Get fucked.
It's almost like a lot of the tragedy of these decisions could have been averted by allowing people to work from home. Mm-hmm. But also more broadly, I canceled Netflix almost a year ago at this point because it's been pretty evident for a long time that Netflix wants Stranger Things level shows and kind of nothing else, because they will create a bunch of new shows left and right. It is if you look at the numbers, it is very uncommon for Netflix shows to make it past season 2. There has been some speculation about like what internal metrics they use, but even look at some of their biggest shows that like maybe weren't as big popular hits, commercial hits as they would have liked, like Altered Carbon or Space Force, like Tuca and Birdie, things that are either really critically beloved or kind of like, okay, this could find its way, or like Space Force, like, we could do better. Like, as season 2 of Space Force, I haven't watched it because I canceled my Netflix, but like season 2 of Space Force just dropped, and apparently all it took was a couple weeks for them to just confirm, like, yeah, no, we're killing it. And this mentality of only look for the hits is suffocating shows with potential in the crib. I imagine Arcane is going to be around for a very long time because it was a commercial and critical hit. If they're investing billions of dollars and going billions of dollars into debt to create this content, I'm kind of surprised that they're being so close-minded in their decisions to choose what content sticks around. And I will tell you, that is what led me to cancel my subscription, is I'm getting a lot of shows that I don't care about, and I will never have to care about because I know they're going to get canceled, and they're cranking up my subscription price by $2 every couple of months. So what am I getting? I'm getting Stranger Things and Bake Off and nothing else. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm
done.
done.
There was that whole thing too where they're like, yeah, it's a real problem that like so many people are sharing accounts. We're gonna have to do something about that. And everyone's they fuck right off. It already costs too much.
And it's like Netflix is, it's very much like a lot of companies that are trying to force people to come back into the office instead of working from home. They're looking at the problem and saying, like, here are the things that we know solve problems. Let's do them. Instead of saying, like, hey, maybe look at how people are responding to your decisions and react to that also. I'm not saying don't cancel shows.
Because basically, like, they're looking at, like, everything. They're like, oh, hey, all the things that make people actually enjoy our platform to begin with, we realize those are the things that are losing us money. So we're going to have to take those things away. And you expect that to not lose you more subscribers? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like,
exactly.
even an ad-based tier, I think makes sense. Are people going to go for it? I don't know. I forgot that Hulu has ads because I've paid for no ads on Hulu for as long as I could. So like, it's Netflix is going to be fine, but they're dealing with problems that are their own making. And I think less their own making than they are a combination of that and just their ignorance.
Yeah.
And now we are suddenly seeing employees get screwed by being poached away from union jobs and then fired immediately.
Yeah. Like I can get the situation they're in where like, unlike like all these competitors are coming in and Netflix doesn't have like a giant stockpile of like IPs, so they're in a prickly situation. But like, you know what?
If they didn't cancel all of them.
If they didn't cancel everything, yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, the ghost of Blockbuster is just laughing their ass off and holding up double middle fingers at Netflix because it's pretty much just the karma rolling back around to them.
And but again, like, don't lose sight of the fact that this is just around like 0.1% of their subscriber base. There's a lot of hullabaloo just because it's the first time that this has happened to them. And in the 10 years that Netflix has been pumping out original content, that the competitors are starting to eat their lunch. Like, it's new.
Yeah. But there also was some suggestion that like some of that number might also be boosted a little bit by the fact that they, made the correct decision to pull out of Russia because of the, the whole Ukrainian invasion thing. So it's like, it's part of me, like, if that was actually like the main thing that was causing it, I would feel kind of bad about the fact that Netflix is losing stock, because then it's basically like, the company is being punished for making a good humanitarian decision. But I doubt that's like really all of it,
I feel like they would have said that if that's the case. That's easy PR. Yeah, maybe that's true. Being naive about it, but well, because there was some suggestion that they didn't really know how much it affected them, didn't it? Wasn't there? I'm not sure. I don't know if there was a specific suggestion. Anyways, I don't know. I think the only moral problems here are the, hey, come work for us, never mind, you're fired. Beyond that, I think it's just interesting because people, like, Netflix has been showing its bloat for a while, and people have been complaining about these things for a while, and for the first time, it's hitting their bottom line. And it's going to be interesting to see that develop.
Yeah.
But I'm also interested to see if this wave is going to start hitting other streaming services too, because
I don't think
the
so.
idea
because they're
in general
potentially taking market share from Netflix. As people saturate in their subscription. Paramount Plus just added like 7 million people.
Damn.
So
yeah.
No, I don't mean in the immediate aftermath. I just mean like down the road, because like,
sure.
Netflix is not the only one that has a lot of the Netflix problems. They might be like the worst with it, but like there's something to be said also about like the other streaming services that, make you pay a paid subscription to have advertisements still, unless you pay more. It's like, that's still really scummy,
Yeah, no, we've literally just gone back around to cable, and it's like, what the fuck was the point of that?
At least though, you can pick and choose between $10 plans instead of saying it's $100 or antenna.
Yeah.
I will say, I still think this is an improvement over the cable days. It is similar. It is an improvement.
It just sucks because it's like, I don't know. It was like, oh, this great new innovation that makes cable obsolete and means that there's like better ways to like get around having to pay like the crazy money for cable, packages or whatever. And then eventually they just like keep catching up to make it like, oh, if it becomes more and more popular, it means we can make it more and more expensive. So it's just like an ebb and flow of
But I mean, like, ever since House of Cards got its first Emmys, like, we knew this was coming eventually. It took a while, but here we are. But the good news is, like, if there's a show I want to watch on Netflix, I'll pay like $20, which is the cost of less than an IMAX movie ticket. I'll binge the show, then I'll cancel it. So at least I can do that,
Yeah.
Yeah. Next thing I want to talk about, Disney earlier in the month was trying to support Florida's Don't Say Gay bill.
Right.
And everyone
I was wondering
fucking
if we were
hated
gonna bring this up.
Everyone fucking hated that because like.
Yeah, I think we talked about that bit last month, but there have been some developments.
Yeah, it's just like Disney like likes to hype itself up as like, oh, we've got all this diversity and all these different kinds of movies.
Really.
But appealing to all these different kinds of minorities, and we're gay friendly and whatever. And then they turn around and do fucking bullshit like this, where they try to send the whole goddamn country back 50 years. Maybe even worse, really. And it's just like, fuck you and everything the system stands for.
Same kind of energy as, Elon Musk supporting free speech and then hiring union busters within his own company and just not talking about it.
Yeah. So wait, Chowder, do you have the rest of this story? Because it's pretty big.
I mean, I got the stuff on like Disney stock tumbling on.
Oh boy, buckle up, buddy. So yeah, I think it was in March.
Fill me in, man.
Yeah, I think it was in March that the "Don't Say Gay" thing scandal happened, where Disney was like, I believe the line that really pissed a lot of people off in particular was, we'll do our political donations, but we'll continue to support the LGBTQ community in our stories, because that's what makes a difference. But after that, there were a bunch of walkouts at Disney and some of its subsidiaries, I believe. And very quickly, there was a turnaround, and Disney said, we're going to halt our political donations. If I have the timeline on this wrong at all.
Yeah, respect to like the people working at Disney.
Yeah, really.
Yes. They made a big difference.
I don't know, like, just they really put their money where their mouth is. Like,
hang on, this is nowhere near the end of it. So they do the walkouts. Disney is now saying, okay, we're not going to donate to these particular politicians. Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, throws a pity party, like the folks on Twitter yelling at Bungie for supporting women's right to choose, and says, you don't want to support my legislation? Fine. I don't need to let you be a government. So he got the Florida legislature to pass something dissolving the special district that allows Disney to essentially self-govern on its campuses. Yeah. And so, and this has forced
I really
Disney...
do
no, it's still not done. And this has forced Disney to drill down deeper into their position. And this is the silver lining here, is this has forced Disney to take a stance, and now they are more unabashedly behind it. We're also seeing them not edit Doctor Strange to meet foreign censorship due to LGBTQ representation in the movies, which is maybe not how things would have gone a while ago. And this is coming at the same time that they're forced to say, we do not support Don't Say Gay. We actively oppose it. We are now canceling all political donations to Florida politicians entirely. And also, guess what? Based on the fucking Florida laws in place around the special district, if you dissolve us, you need to assume our debt, which is, guess what? Over $1 billion. So, if Florida does in fact succeed in dissolving Disney's local government, as this piece of retaliatory legislation has passed, to which Governor Ron DeSantis says, I quote, "Don't worry about it, we've got a plan." And everyone in the Florida government can attest there is no plan. Even if it succeeds, it is going to drop $1 billion in taxes on the taxpayers of Florida.
Oh, Lord. I love this
so that's
much.
what those walkouts did. That is what those fucking Don't Say Gay walkouts did. This is insane. If nobody had brought it up, I was gonna, because I can't believe I forgot to mention it at the top. Shit's crazy. And for the first time in a while, I'm actually looking at Disney as like, I know that they had to be forced into their position, but thank God there's someone with that kind of money now taking this position actively. Christ.
Yeah. I really love the idea between this government that I hate and this company that I hate, just like destroying each other over like a really good issue. It's just...
This is this month's Will Smith slap. Well, no, not even, because we like Will Smith and Chris Rock, but you know what? A slap fight between two assholes, and
this is like,
again,
if Will Smith took the slap back and we're like, "Oh damn, we like you again, dog."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
that's so fucking choice. Yeah. I love that so much.
Yeah, so that's another thing that's developing big time.
Yeah, no, mad respect to the employees of Disney. They really just made a change from the bottom up, and it's like, yes.
That does suck ass. And so immediately, people who are just living in Florida who are going to be hit with those taxes if it ends up.
I mean, a lot of things are bad for people in Florida right now, thanks to Ron DeSantis. But you know, that's a different kind of podcast. But it is so interesting because, like, oftentimes companies try to take take these sort of lukewarm stances.
Yeah.
Not Bungie, as we said at the top of this episode, but it's like, it's so that they can have their cake and eat it too. And it's it is kind of encouraging to see that when the chips are down, some of these companies will at least stick to the values they fucking pretend to preach.
Yeah.
Again,
really.
this is not unilateral praise for Disney. This is just like, this kind of thing does not unfold very often. And it is encouraging to see it go in this particular direction, at least at the start. Who knows where it's going to end? I might eat these words in a couple months. Who the fuck knows? But we now have one of the biggest companies in the world adamantly defending the rights of the LGBTQ community. So, like, more of that, please.
All right. Next thing I wanted to talk about, Square Enix has sold Eidos, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix Montreal for $300 million, which, like, sounds like a lot, but, like, considering Tomb Raider, like, and the IPs that come with them, but considering Tomb Raider alone made them $100 million, it's just, like, this just seems like what are you doing? Like, because, like, what are you doing? Like, selling these big studios and IPs just so you can get into the NFT market.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Which is fucking failing right now. Like, you are too late on that bandwagon if there ever was. Like, what are you
the
doing,
NFT market,
you
as
dumbass?
it exists today, is a boondoggle for sure. And
like,
when you add this to the memo that we talked about back in January from the head of Square Enix, it seems like a pretty radical shift from games to not games. I don't know, man. What studios does Square Enix still have? Because they got bought by, I forget the name of the company, but the company that owns like Deep Silver and a bunch of other huge publishers. Like, it's a big games conglomerate that bought these studios from Square Enix. So more corporate consolidation. What does Square Enix have left?
Embracer Group.
Embracer, thank you.
Yeah,
no, they're enormous.
Yeah, and it's just like, look, I ain't no businessman, but like, even I can tell you're being fucking stupid, and it's like,
especially because like, fucking Crystal Dynamics, maybe their biggest earner, Tomb Raider and Avengers and whatnot, like, they're now going to be making a new Tomb Raider.
Well, I'm pretty sure Avengers was like a huge monetary flop, but
it was, but like their pedigree as game designers, like, it's there. But part of one thing that they're doing is for the next Tomb Raider, they're going to use Unreal Engine 5, which is probably going to save them a lot of money on development because they don't need to maintain their own engine shit. And Unreal Engine licensing is a lot cheaper than a lot of other engine licensing. So, like, you've got business innovations already happening down the pipe. I imagine Embracer was very excited to scoop them up for that low price because we're probably going to get some good shit out of them.
Yeah, it's just like Square Enix, like, they'll like release a game, it'll sell really well, and then they'll be like, oh, it didn't meet expectations. Like Tomb Raider, it sells like
like, what are your motherfucking expectations, my man?
Millions and millions of copies, and they're just like, oh, it just didn't meet expectations.
But then to the fucking Netflix problem and what you said about Final Fantasy 14, look what happens when you fucking buck up and commit and dig into something, even if it didn't meet your expectations right out of the gate. Look what you can do.
Yeah, and like, man, the Final Fantasy 14 story is wild because, like, again, like, developers, like, literally went on stage and, like, apologized for how bad Final Fantasy 14 is. Cut to now, and it's the most beloved MMO ever.
Yeah, it's a fucking money farm, and I mean that gives me hope for what Halo Infinite might be in a year or two. But for now, it just makes me think like, Square Enix, are you okay?
You don't know what the fuck
are you guys
doing.
Okay? Yeah. We'll fucking see.
Yeah. I mean, I got a couple more things I want to talk about, but I realize we are.
We are. We've had some lively discussion on this one.
Yeah. So I'll cut the stuff about like Nintendo's labor complaints, their labor lawsuits, because like Nintendo of America is doing some shady shit, and it's just like, Nintendo, come on, man. But
you were supposed to be the
there's
chosen ones.
And then there's this article from Bloomberg.
Star Wars Day.
Yeah, California lawyer quits over allegation Newsom meddled in Activision case, which is just like,
oof.
Wow, some serious conspiracy shit.
Not good.
Yeah, like the notes, chief counsel for DFEH was fired, assistant resigns in protest, DFEH sued Activision over sexual harassment and discrimination. And just like top lawyer for the state of California has resigned, accusing the governor's office of interfering with a discrimination lawsuit against Activision Blizzard Incorporated.
Yeah, because that was a state case that was brought to Activision, the thing that fucking blew them right the fuck up. Yeah, Christ alive. All right, any other quick headlines you want to get out before we jump ahead?
Let's see. Kingdom Hearts 4 was revealed, and that is surprising because like they usually take like fucking millions of years.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't there like a huge gap between 2 and 3?
Well, don't forget. Don't forget.
There were.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go on. Massive gap between 2 and 3. Just like a bunch of side stories that are important to understanding the main story across multiple consoles. That was like keeping it around. Yeah. So like the fact that they revealed Kingdom Hearts 4 so soon is like, oh wow.
But don't forget that they revealed Kingdom Hearts 3, and there was a big gap between that and Kingdom Hearts 3 also. So we have no idea when this game is coming.
True.
Good point. And,
all right.
That's it. I got nothing else.
Sounds good. So let's dive into the ratings. Now we, as an editorial room here with all our journalistic integrity, will decide what we think is the hottest headline, the top story of the month of all the geek news in April. If you had to bring one to your fancy cocktail party to discuss the state of geek news and share as a tidbit with other people, what should that tidbit be? And what should your cocktail be? I don't know.
I'd like to start this one off. I think
hit me.
Like the Disney stuff on the Florida bill, because wow, I didn't realize how absurd that story got. Like
you
what
I knew
about
it, dude.
Yeah, like what I knew about was like, them supporting the bill, the employees like having a walkout, being able to force Disney out of causing a drop in Disney stocks and being able to force Disney to backpedal from that. I didn't follow beyond that, and I didn't realize that some petty slap fight between Disney and the government of Florida was going on. Holy shit.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how this shakes out. It's going to be ridiculous, whatever it is, and I hope more people are not fucking hurt, and that it's just Ron DeSantis that comes out really bad
people
from
of
this.
Florida should have a walkout.
Oh boy. Anyway, Jeff, how about yourself? What would you nominate for the top story this month, or would you like to join Chowder in his nomination?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of really important stuff that happened this month. Like, obviously, the whole Disney thing is wild, and that's going to be a developing story. It's a huge fucking deal, this whole shit with Elon Musk and Twitter. My vote this month is going to be going to the fact that 1/3 of the members of this fucking podcast are apparently clairvoyant. No, I'm just joking. That's not the most important story. Either Disney or Elon Musk, really. But I mean, I guess I'm gonna lean towards the Disney thing because as of the time being, that seems like it's going in a more positive direction. Whereas, Elon Musk buying Twitter can only get bad.
Could only be bad. I think I'm going to join you on the Disney story as well, not just because of its twists and turns, not just because of the potential positive outcomes that could come from this, but also because I think it falls much more squarely in geek news than Twitter does. I think Twitter is a mix of geek and tech news, but it's also very much politics and society in general. And Disney makes all the movies we talk about, so I feel like that's pretty germane to this podcast in particular. But if you want a wild ride, just look at the articles about the Don't Say Gay bill and Disney's response to it, and Florida's response to Disney, and Disney's response to Florida. I hope that back and forth goes much further, and that we see a company stand up for people in a big way. I would love if that's sort of the final lesson here.
And if you want a much less wild ride that is much less consequential, just listen to the last episode of this podcast and then go look up the fucking headline for the RoboSend project and look at the fucking dates there. I am very proud of this, even though it was not my actual ability in any way.
Anyway, the Disney response to the Don't Say Gay bill is our top
Optimus
story for
Prime
the month.
companion piece.
I'm Colin Ketchen. You can find me at colinketchen.com, where you can see I've also done another edit for my friends over at The Greatest Discovery, a Star Trek podcast. I got to do another episode for them with Star Trek Picard, and it was So much fun. You can hear me tell the story on the How You Doing podcast, but I tried to do some stuff with sound effects that all 3 people involved told me was too gross and I couldn't do it. So that's fun. Anyway, who else is joining me?
I've been Jeff. If you want to find me, I do a YouTube channel where I do toy reviews. That is Alchemist Prime Reviews on YouTube. I had something else I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was, so that's me.
Hi, I'm Timul Chaudhry, or Chowder, whichever you prefer. You can find me on Twitter at Timul_Chowder. You can find me on our sister podcast, Dice Populi, where the last episode of my story arc has just come out. And woo, what a ride.
Oh boy, I haven't listened to it yet.
It's a doozy, believe you me. If you would like to hear more about that, you can always go to comicgeekingprogram.com. We have links to How You Doing and Dice Populi, or their podcasts. Check out the show notes here if you want to refer to any of the stories that we just talked about. Otherwise, I guess we'll see you in a couple weeks for a regular-ass book club episode, and 1 month from now for a recap of the news of May. I hate to tell you guys, I'm going to have some Star Trek to talk about. Buckle up.
All right.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. If the fucking podcast used to be The Greatest Generation, and then they changed it to The Greatest Discover when they started talking about Discovery, shouldn't it be The Greatest Picard now?
I would love if it was The Greatest Picard. There are 2 podcasts. Greatest Generation is their old Star Trek podcast. Greatest Discovery is their new Star Trek podcast. But I would love if it was The Greatest Picard and it just became a Patrick Stewart fan cast.
If it was just every time they started talking about a new show, they just changed the...
Welcome to The Greatest Star Trek Prodigy on Nickelodeon.
The Greatest Enterprise is not a bad name.
The Greatest Enterprise is not a bad name, but
the greatest.
We're about to have our 4th Star Trek show about an Enterprise.
Space Nine.
The Greatest Deep Space Nine. There are so many of them. All right, Chowder, would you like to give an outro, or let Jeff and I bat this starship-shaped badminton shuttlecock back and forth?
You can do whatever you want with that cock. I'm ending this recording.
Okay, bye.
Oh, fuck me. Colin and the Sleepy Boys. That's our new band name.
Love it. I'm so pro nap, man. I am embracing napping more and more. Not because like I have to, but just because I'm like, you know what? I don't have anything I gotta do. I'm a little low on energy. I'm gonna lay down and take a nap.
I am very bad at napping.
What do you mean bad at napping? Like you're not able to do it, or you do it badly, or you don't do it and you should?
Really all of the above, to be honest. Like,
okay.
I can't nap on command. The only scenarios I can nap is when I'm not trying to, and then, you know, I just end up falling asleep. When I do nap, I never manage to wake up on like the right part of the cycle, so I just feel groggy and miserable for the rest of the day and just like screw up everything and just like feel like I'm in a weird haze for the rest of the day. And there are plenty of times when I don't get nearly enough sleep, and napping would be beneficial if I did it well, and I don't do it. So all of the above.
That's
so who's covering Ezra Miller beating up people across Hawaii?
I can.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to talk about it at all, but if we want to mention it, I can say it.
Yeah, I'll nose goes on that one just because I haven't actually read
Ezra...
anything beyond the headlines.
I actually have not either. So.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Neither have I. I just think it'd be a funny thing to bring up.
Yeah, hilarious.
I'm just gonna write in my notes: Ezra Miller beats up Hawaiians.
Hold on, shit. What's the thing? Hang on. That's it. Okay.
Alright, what's the best way to do this? I'm not making a bunch of fucking sounds.
I guess Sonic.
I have like very few things that I'm talking about, like 4, including Ezra Miller. So
yeah, I
none of them are really big deals.
I just forgot to write and put them all in a single list for myself before joining. I feel like this month was reasonably busy, not with like announcements, but just stuff. And I'll tackle that Weird Al trailer as well.
Oh yeah, I've not watched it yet.
They shot that movie fast. I think the whole thing was shot in under 3 weeks, and they stopped shooting pretty recently. So the fact that they have a trailer ready.
The whole thing was shot in 3 weeks?
Yeah, no, it was quick. It was real quick. Like they announced casting of Daniel Radcliffe, and then like a week or two later, Weird Al was posting trailer shots.
Daniel Radcliffe was playing Weird Al?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah. So is Daniel Radcliffe, and so is Weird Al. So we'll get into that.
Yeah, I mean, it works.
Yeah, no, it sure does.
Daniel Radcliffe is a weird fucking guy. He's not Al, but he is weird.
Yeah.
I'm ready to rock and roll whenever you guys are. We can do a clap, and maybe that'll perk you both
clapping.
Okay.
No promises, but I will clap.
Let's clap at 25. So that's about 10 seconds.
Okay.
Just to give y'all time to load or refresh or whatever. 5 seconds. I didn't hear either of you clap. I
didn't hear either of you clap, but
okay, but we all clapped, right?
Boy.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent.
You ever like do a clap and you just hit it slightly wrong and it just hurts way more than usual?
Yes. Hey Jeff, I'm sorry your day's going so badly.
Well, no, it's fine. I'm just tired and I clapped bad.
That's fine. Chowder, how was that nap?
I mean, I'm still sleepy, but I don't feel like I'll go to sleep again, so.
Okay.
It's about the best you can hope for.